Welcome to episode 7.44 of the Grumpy Brothers podcast. I am Chris Ludvigsen, joined by Ted. Say hey, Ted.
Hey, Ted.
Thank you to our listeners. Please subscribe and listen on Apple Podcast, Spotify, or Odyssey. Also, please follow us on millions.co. It's two topics today. We're going to begin with the Major League Baseball awards that were announced this past week. And then it's on to our weekly NFL review and game picks. Before we get to all that, Ted, other than a bad heater, what's making you grumpy today?
Well, it's fixed, so it's not bad anymore. At least we hope. Um, I was just sitting there thinking, when I hear Maeve, I think you should record her and maybe somehow put a sound effect of her, like, I don't know where it would go, but somewhere it needs to go in because I hear her.
Yes, normally Robbie and Bridget go to the 11 o'clock mass, and they
Right.
decided to go to the 9 o'clock mass today
Oh,
because there were more children in the daycare center, and they thought that would be good for Maeve. The
yeah.
problem was Maeve has gotten very clingy to Bridget when they drop them off when they go to church.
Right. Right.
And Bridget says she couldn't even get out of the room today. So
Well, yeah. Yeah.
the
Hey,
best laid plans.
yeah, hey, look, you just, you kind of know what they're going to talk about more or less. So it's okay. It's okay. You kind of know where it's all headed anyway, right?
No, it just meant that it just meant
Yeah, I
that
know. Yeah,
Bridge
yeah,
joined the. I mean, it meant that Maeve
yeah.
joined them for the math instead of
Oh,
them.
okay. All right. Yeah,
Yes. Bridget
yeah.
didn't
Okay.
stay there. It just meant that
Okay.
everybody else in
You had to
I
enjoy Maeve.
had to
Yeah.
enjoy the spectacle that is Maeve.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. She looked
But
very pretty. She looked very pretty today with her checked dress on today and her hair pulled
okay.
back.
There you go.
She was very fetching.
Yeah. Um, so a while back, probably years now, I mentioned on this fine podcast that I didn't remember that sometimes uh transparency is not what all it's cracked up to be. When we
Okay.
were talking about the astronauts and how they would bring them off, and when they did the SpaceX splashdown, and it was all great, and then we find out that they can't walk when they get back on
Mm,
Earth, and
yeah.
I was like, I don't need to know that. I want them to be, you know, uh, I want them to be what was the guy's name? In the movie The Right Stuff, the one that didn't become the astronaut, Glenn Yeager, Chuck Yeager. I want him to
Oh.
be
Man.
Chuck Yeager walking away from the crash, So
By
in
the way,
that,
Ted. By the way, Ted.
yeah,
When we get to our conspiracy episode, we have to have a discussion about
yeah.
whether or not we actually went to the moon or not. But let's have that discussion later.
No. Um, oh no, it just choked me up. But in that vein, I saw an article the other day that says, and I know it's just clickbait, and I didn't go there, but the article was former Krispy Kreme donut employee spills all.
Oh, so
Now,
you don't want to know how the donuts are made?
I don't want to know. I don't want to know anything about how they're made, how they're shipped, what they're made of. I don't need to know. I eat like 2 a year and they're great.
Let me enjoy them.
That's all I need to know. Just leave it alone. Nobody know. The only guy that needs to know about this is the guy that's sucking down 3 every day. But on the other hand, if he's sucking down 3 every day, it's not going to matter how they're made eventually. But no, don't stop. Stop. I mean, what? I mean, is somebody paying you to tell us this? What, the Dunkin' Donuts are made better? I don't need to know this. That's why I don't read these things.
Dunkin',
I mean,
yeah, Dunkin'
ignorance is
Donuts
bliss.
don't.
Ignorance is bliss, particularly when it comes to donuts.
No, ignorance is bliss. Ted, I was telling somebody the other day about the first shirt of hug, uh, hug, hug trees, not me. Or what was it? Hug a tree, not me.
Yeah,
I think that's the next one in line. Ignorance is bliss,
bliss,
especially for donuts.
especially when it comes to donuts. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, yeah. It's just awful. Don't tell me that stuff.
Yeah, because Dunkin' Donuts clearly have no sugar and no calories in them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this was a a spill from Dunkin' Donuts or whatever. I just or he just somebody somebody else, excuse me, somebody else paid him. I don't know, but it's
So,
just unnecessary.
so Ted, as you know, and our tens of listeners will now know, this past week, I was on the continent again,
Yes, you
as
were.
you like
Yeah.
as you like to
Yeah.
call it. I was in Barcelona,
There you go.
because it's not Barcelona, it's Barcelona.
Okay.
Our company, the company I work for these days, is internationally based, and we sell throughout the world. So we have our once a year sales meeting in Europe every year because it's a good central point for everybody to fly into.
Sure.
So on Wednesday night, and as you might, it doesn't sound too bad right now, but you might tell I came home with a cold.
Of course you did. You're on a plane for 3 hours or 7 hours or whatever. Of course you did.
About 7 hours going over, about 8 hours coming back. But Ted,
Yeah.
I actually think I know exactly where I got my cold, and I don't think it was the plane, because I think it was on the Wednesday night company dinner.
That could be. Yeah.
Okay, now here's what happened, Ted. It was about a 10-minute walk to the restaurant from our hotel. So as we're walking out, you know how when you're with a big group, you get different people kind of get aligned with each other, and you start having conversations as you walk. So it just so happened that on Wednesday night, as we're walking to dinner, I'm walking next to one of our Italian teammates, and we were having a nice conversation. And as we walked in, I thought, well, I'm enjoying the conversation. Let me just sit down next to him, and all's good. And we had a great time. We had a great conversation. He was actually fascinated, or at least he pretended to be fascinated. Maybe he pretended to be fascinated, and he's just really good at this because I mentioned that I like sports, and he became fascinated with American football. So we were talking about rules and schedules and teams and this and that. And about 5 minutes into the conversation, he pulled out of his pocket a tissue, and he started blowing his nose. And
Bingo.
Yes, exactly. I immediately my antenna went up, and all I could think to myself is, dadgummit, I wish he had done that on the walk over.
Yeah, sure.
Because then when you get into the restaurant, you can casually
I got to go to the bathroom.
I got to go to the bathroom.
Right.
You let mother schmuck be the guy sitting next to him, come home with a basket full of germs. But I couldn't appear antisocial and go, hey,
Right.
I don't want to sit next to you.
No, you're already down in the spider's hole at that point anyway. So
exactly. Now, Ted, here's the other problem. I think we might have mentioned this when we went over on vacation. The Spaniards, like the Europeans, eat entirely too late. Their dinners,
right.
Oh my gosh, Ted. So with a party of, I think it was about 25 people, we began at 8:00.
Ugh.
And yeah, exactly. And over there they do the tapas, which are the little not side dishes, but little small servings that everybody shares. So you got to go through about 10 of those first. Some of them are good, some of them not. But anyway, it was after 10:00 before we even got our main course.
Yeah. It's entirely too late. Yeah.
I wobbled into my hotel room a little after 11:30, didn't get to sleep till almost midnight the next day, and then I had jet lag the next day. I was just an absolute mess. So,
and you're looking at you're looking at the Italian guy going, really?
Exactly. Actually, I felt like looking at my boss going, hey, did we really have to have 5 rounds of extra tapas?
Yeah,
Couldn't we just had 2 and moved on with this thing?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
The guy who runs it is a gentleman from the Netherlands, and he's great fun, Ted. If we ever had a chance to spend time with Gert, as I always thought it was Gert.
Yeah.
But the correct Dutch pronunciation is Gert.
Okay.
So he's a great guy, great storyteller, a lot of fun, and makes every event quite fun. So I can be upset with him, but at the end of the day,
it's a cold.
It's a cold. We'll survive.
Yeah.
It was one night with not much sleep, and we'll survive. So anyway, there we go. All right, then here we go. Ready? Okay.
Here we go.
I thought I hit it in time.
That's all right. An extra horn never hurt anybody.
There you go. All right, Ted. Shortly, we're going to talk about the American League and National League MVPs, which both had repeat winners in Aaron Judge and Shohei. Okay, let me see if I can explain this so that you understand the question. Okay, in the last 2 seasons, okay, in the top 5 voting of each of those 2 seasons,
right?
Okay, There, other than Aaron and Shohei, there were 3 other players that were in the top 5 both seasons.
Okay.
You follow?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay. Name those 3 players.
Um, just by league or in total?
Just any one of them.
Jose Ramirez.
That's one.
I know Soto.
That's the one I thought I was going to trip you up on, Ted. Very good. Very good.
And I don't think it could be either of the guys that finished second. You're saying top 5 because I only hear the top 3.
It was not.
Bobby Witt.
Gosh, darn it, Ted. Excellent. I thought I would trip you up on Juan Soto.
Now I saw the list of the 3. They on the baseball network, they showed you the 3. I just wasn't, and I thought about last year's. Oh yeah, Soto was with the Yankees. He had 1 million home runs, so they had to put him up there. Yeah, I think Jose Ramirez is, on a side point to this. Jose Ramirez is going to set the record for finishing 3rd most times, because all he does is put up the same year after year after year.
And unfortunately, at the same time as Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
Okay, so Bobby Witt finished 2nd last year and 4th this year.
Oh, okay.
Ramirez was 5th last year and 3rd this year. Soto finished 3rd in the American League last year and 3rd in the National League this year. So, gosh.
Okay, maybe Soto's going to break Jose Ramirez's record, because I think he finished 3rd one year in the National League too, when he was with the Padres.
All right, Ted, let's go on to the awards themselves. And the theme of this year.
Oh yeah, and he was Soto. Just remember 1 year when he was with the Nats and they were terrible, and he had a great year. I think he finished 3rd. I think he got into the top 3 because they didn't have. So yeah, Soto might be replacing Jose Ramirez as the number 3 guy in a completely unrelated topic. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right, scoot to the middle a little bit more. So as we get into this, and you can have because Ted, everybody's got to see your smiling face on those Instagram posts.
Sure, they do.
Put out.
Sure, they do.
All right, Ted. The theme of the Major League Awards is repeat winners.
Yeah.
Of the 6 awards that could have repeat winners: American National League MVP, American National League Cy Young, American National League Manager of the Year. Of those 6, 5 were repeat winners.
Right.
With only Paul Skeens becoming the National League Cy Young, and he won the Rookie of the Year last year.
Right.
Okay, so let's start there. And by the way, let's do a quick review. American League MVP Aaron Judge, National League MVP Shohei, American League Cy Young Skubal, Cy Young National League Skeens, American League Manager Steve Vogt of the Guardians, National League Manager Pat Murphy of the Brewers, American League Rookie of the Year Nick Kurtz from the A's, and National League Rookie Year Drake Baldwin from the Braves. Okay, Ted. After that list is done, I want to ask this question first.
Yeah.
Did any of the repeat winners bother you that they won the 2nd year in a row?
Well, I think I could have made a case for Crochet as the American League Cy Young Award winner because he won more games, and their stats otherwise. I think he struck out more guys, or they were pretty close in that. So I could make a pretty strong case for him. And I don't think Aaron Judge should have won MVP, but
okay.
I mean, the Manager of the Year vote might not have won it if they hadn't come back and won the division, but they did. So I can't argue with that. And Murphy had the best record in baseball. You can't argue with that.
Do you think, well, obviously if they had it, and what we have to remind people is that all of these awards are a regular season award.
Right.
And so clearly the job that vote, and you can't go wrong with giving the award to Vogt.
No.
But here's my question on that front. Is Schneider with the Blue Jays winning the American League East, contending with the Yankees and the Blue Jays, more impressive than the Guardians winning the Central?
It's the comeback.
It's the comeback.
It's the comeback. Yeah, and the other thing that we have to remember, and it was a kind of a side note this week, is he lost, a premier reliever and a reasonable reliever. A lot of teams, if they had lose their top guy out of the bullpen, it's over. And the way they lost, and the way they lost him, they didn't lose him to injury, which happens. Yeah. They lost him to something very different.
And by the way, from what I read, those guys are not just talking about being banned from baseball. Those guys are talking about going to jail.
Yeah, I mean, there's wire fraud. Yeah. I mean, and for, I mean, you almost understand Ortiz because the amount of money he's probably
Yeah,
making and but it's $7,000 a bet, and he's making at least 1,000,000.
yeah,
That's
close
that's
to it. Yeah,
crazy. That's crazy. And then Clase is I can't even fathom if he's
yeah.
got a friend that wants some money, just give it to him. You're
Just
gonna be
loan it.
making.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
exactly. Exactly. Just say, hey, I'm going to get a big contract soon. I'll give you, I'll
God, I
loan
mean,
you
that
some
was
money. And yeah,
nuts. Yeah.
yeah. All right. So, Ted, you said it. Let's go to it. I have it listed as the most interesting discussion, which is the American League MVP. So let's go through it, Ted. Aaron Judge gets 17 of the 30 top first place votes, 355 votes overall, compared to 13 first place votes and 335 for Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh. You clearly would have gone Raleigh.
It's not even a question. He's a catcher. He hit 60 home runs, and he had I even looked it up. He caught 121 games.
Yes.
So that's a lot. I mean, that's over 1,000 innings, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
thereabouts. Zero pass balls.
Mm.
Zero. And he can throw. He's probably throwing out guys, what, like 30% or
I
something
looked
like
at
that.
he actually has average stats, Ted.
Okay.
Throughout 20, he threw out 24. No,
Okay.
he
All
was
right.
24th out of 63 catchers throwing, no, 25th out of 63 catchers throwing at a 24% rate. And 24th, there's a stat in throwing above league average. So he's an average throw, but you don't know how well the pitchers control base runners.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, stolen bases come off the pitchers probably more so than they come off the
A
catcher.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. But zero pass balls is a pretty
It's
good.
impressive. It's
That's
impressive.
I mean, um, he hit 60 home runs. He hit 60 home runs as a catcher. 2 years ago, yeah, 2 years ago, we said Acuna gets the MVP because he went 40 and 70. Last year, we said Shohei gets it because he went 50 and 50. The guy hit 60 home runs as a catcher on a team that won its division. What are we talking about? I mean,
Okay.
Aaron Judge is great, and he had a great year. He's a cat. He's not. Raleigh's a catcher. Aaron Judge is an outfielder. Unless Aaron Judge is playing Gold Glove center field, no, he's a catcher.
Okay, Ted. Let me throw the numbers at you. Okay, because that's why I kept my book here close by,
Yeah,
Ted. Okay, American Judge leads American League in these stats: batting average, and then he hits 331 with 53 homers, 114 RBIs. He leads in runs scored, on base percentage 40.457, 688 slug, 1.144 OPS, and in my stat of runs generated,
right.
he generates 198 runs in 679 plate appearances. That's 29% of the time he comes to plate. He's generating a run.
Okay, you ought to
Now,
send that one into MLB. They'd like.
exactly. Yeah, you like the runs generated
I
stat?
do like that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Ted, Raleigh ends up
Is
hitting two
yours is yours at bats or plate appearances?
plate appearances
Okay. All right.
because you walk.
You can walk in a run. Yeah, and you can score. Right.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
That's why I do plate appearances. I
Okay.
thought about doing games played because I like the idea of saying, how many runs per game do you generate?
Well, you can do that too. You could
Yeah,
make
but
both. Yeah.
I like the plate appearance thing.
Well, that's kind of you could do that, and now you have your version of OPS. There you
Exactly.
go.
There you go.
There you
There
go.
you go. All right. So Raleigh hits 247, which is the only thing
Don't
that's
care.
negative about his stats. So that none of that is important to you.
It's too. Go ahead. Run them out. Run them out. Go ahead.
247, 60 homers, 125 RBIs. So he leads in home runs and RBIs. He scores 110 runs. So his run
Yeah.
production rate is 25% as opposed to 29.
Okay. All right. So what first of all, I can't say it enough. He's a catcher. And he's a good catcher. He's not a bad catcher. He's not a guy that they throw out there 35 times. He's not Ben Rice, who they just, caught
Right.
maybe. Yeah. He's a
To put,
catcher. This is his job. If you ask, aside from, like Johnny Bench and Yogi Berra and those guys, if you asked any major league manager probably in the last 70 years, what do you hope to get from your catching platoon
mm,
offensively? It
mm,
would probably be something like 15 home runs, 60 RBIs, and 240-ish average.
mm.
I would be ecstatic with
If
that.
they catch and they catch a good game.
If they're good catchers, right? Not offensive catchers. Okay, so the thing to and you don't have time and we you'd have to have a pretty big program to run it on, but you could take your stat of runs generated per game. How many did he generate compared to other catchers?
Mm,
And how many did Judge do compared to other outfielders?
mm.
Now, Judge is still probably going to be
Yeah,
highest, but I
yeah.
guarantee you that there's probably no other
No
catch.
one close.
I would be, I don't think there would be another catcher over 20. Do
Yeah,
you?
you're probably right. No, you're probably right.
Or maybe one or two, but not, but there would probably be like a 26 or a 27 on outfielders somewhere.
Now, Ted, one of the radio personalities that I listen to a fair amount that I think is pretty good in terms of his baseball knowledge is Mad Dog Russo.
Right.
And he said this week he also was a proponent for Raleigh for the MVP, and he made a big fuss about, as he called it, as a catcher handling the pitchers.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay,
That's
now,
part
Ted,
of it. Yeah.
okay, but Ted, with scouting reports and all of the catchers wearing the armbands, I think pitch decisions are decided long before the game.
Yeah, but I think what he's talking about is the framing of the pitches
Okay,
and
now,
no pass balls. That
okay,
means a catcher or pitcher can throw anything in any count with a runner on third, and this guy's going to keep it in front of him.
okay. Now, Ted, I've had this conversation with Robbie. I agree. The no pass balls is a fantastic stat, particularly when you count how many games he caught. But Ted, the whole framing pitches thing. Do you think catchers are really stealing many strikes?
They're stealing enough. They steal enough against bad umpires. They steal enough. That's one of the reasons they're going to have robot umpires, because then the framing thing goes away. You can't move it faster than you can fool the human eye. You're not going to be able to fool the laser.
I tell you what I don't understand is why I see some catchers that are almost, it's like almost a violent yank of the hand and wrist. Like, no, it has to be very.
Well, they're not good at it. Yeah.
Right. It has to be just a very subtle turn. It has to be very slow.
Right.
It has to be very, very smooth. Otherwise, if you're yanking it, like I saw one time, Will Smith caught a ball at the bottom of the strike zone, and he did a really violent yank up into the middle of the strike zone. And all I could think to myself is that umpire, when he sees that violent strike, might even be more prone to call it a ball.
Sure.
Because if you're having to move your hand that much to
right.
try and convince me a strike, then it probably wasn't.
Right. But but I mean, but some guys are better at it than others.
Now we're getting into the weeds of catching, which of course is something that I would love to get into the weeds of. All right, let's do a couple of other things before we finish up this discussion, Ted. On the National League Cy Young, does Paul Skeen's 10-10 record bother you?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think? I don't think there's another more deserving National League. If Crochet had been in the National League,
yes. Yeah, I mean, Yamamoto really didn't win many games.
Right.
Would he win like a dozen games or 13 or something like that? And I don't remember the other candidate.
I forgot to write down there the top 5.
But none of them were like at 18-10 or something like that. They were all about 12 or 13 wins. So given that stat really wasn't a big difference, and he was pitching for the stinking Pirates.
Okay, now let's go down that path, Ted. Okay, so you can say he only won 10 games because the Pirates are bad, and I get it.
I know.
All right, but Ted, you're gonna love this comparison.
I know Jacob deGrom. Yeah, I know.
No.
All right.
The big lefty, Ted.
Yeah.
Steve Carlton.
Yeah.
In 1972, played for the Phillies.
Right.
That won 59 games, and Carlton won 27.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He won 27. He had 36 complete games or something like that. Yeah.
Now, okay.
Completely different era, 50 years ago.
So Carlton had 41 starts that season in a 4-man rotation, Ted. He pitched 346 innings.
Well, when you throw 35 complete games, the innings pile up.
So when you look at Skeens, he had a great OPS, a great whip, a great ERA. All of that stuff is great. But Teddy only pitched 187 innings, which is probably why he only got 10 wins, because a couple of those games, the Pirates must have won a couple of starts of his after the 5th inning when he couldn't go past 5 or 6.
Yeah, I don't know
And
if he
this is,
can't
and
go. I don't know if he can't go past 5 or 6, or they just weren't letting. Because I saw him a couple times on the MLB Network, and he's blowing guys away, and he's around 100 pitches, and it's the 6th inning, and it's tied, and they take him out. I'm like, what are you
well,
doing?
and here's what I don't understand, Ted. You know they're not going to be able to sign him in a couple years.
Yeah,
So what are we saving him for?
I
Let
I
the
don't know.
Yankees be worried about saving
Yeah,
him
right.
for
Yeah.
for the stretch run.
I mean, I don't get it. I mean, because they're not bringing anybody better out of the bullpen, you know. So
If I mean, I'm starting to hear already that after in his second season they were talking about would they trade Skeens. I'm like,
right.
eh,
It's not if, it's when. Yeah.
right, but I mean, you got to at least get him to his fourth year before you trade him. Otherwise, if I were, I think I talked about this before. If I were a Pirates season ticket holder, all three of them, and you traded Paul Skeens before a year at the earliest, a year before he was up for a free agent, I'd be like, what are we doing here?
Well, okay. It just depends. Part of that is arbitration. They don't want to pay that. But here's the other thing. Then just give them the money. You know, you can give them the money now. You can give them a contract up to free agency and just be done with it.
They could have done something like what the Padres did a year ago and given him a big deal and try to get a discount rate like
Right.
what they
Yeah.
did with Tatis. And then you get into year 7, 8, and you're still not competitive, and then you've got a workable salary. Then you can trade him to the Yankees or
Right.
Dodgers, and they love that deal. So
Yeah. I mean, there's talk he's going to be traded this winter, right? I mean, I don't know what he's worth, you know, what the Pirates would be asking, but no, it doesn't really matter because I would bet that in Pittsburgh and on the road, but it's certainly in Pittsburgh, day he is scheduled to pitch, ticket sales are up. There's more
of course,
fannies in the seats, you know,
of course,
because if nothing else, you don't know how many times you're going to see him.
100%. All right, Ted, let's wrap things up on this.
He's not a catcher, but Cal Raleigh's a catcher. He wins the MVP. Look, what am I going to say? Is you read all those stats off? Great. Aaron Judge, you want to call him Offensive Player of the Year?
Hmm.
Great. He gets an award. He gets some bonus that he doesn't need. But Cal Raleigh's the MVP because we're not judging valuable. If you don't get a guy that hit 60 home runs as a catcher in 120 games with no pass balls and a reasonable batting average, 250, and you're not giving him MVP when his team wins the division, then why are we're just looking at OPS and calling it a day? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, I heard somebody call in and basically say Judge won all of the newfangled stat. Oh, he was the best in all of the new stats, so that's why he got.
But they have an award for that. They have something. I was watching MLB and they were talking about that, and Mark DeRosa goes, "Yeah, if they're going to just judge it on that, then Shohei and Judge are going to win it basically every year as long as they're healthy."
Yeah. Ted, let's wrap it up on this. Because I live in Richmond and not on the West Coast, and because they're not a good team, I don't see a lot of Oakland A's games.
Yeah.
I knew that Nick Kurtz was having a good season, but Ted, 290, 36 homers, 86 RBIs. You add his teammate, Jacob Wilson, who was second,
right,
hitting 311, 13, and 63 while playing shortstop. You add Butler. That's a nice little three-person nucleus to build an offense around.
They just need a little pitching, and they can be scary. They can be scary, and if they can hold it together, if they would see, they should pay these guys now. Pay them now, keep them through arbitration, keep them through when you go to Las Vegas. Then at least have a competitive team for people to go see. Because remember when Vegas got hockey, they were good right out of the chute, and then everybody filled that place up.
And Ted, if you who's the guy they picked up from the Yankees, the pitcher?
Oh, the pitcher, yeah, who was not great this year. Yeah,
but he's
pretty good.
Yeah. You add one or two other starters, you keep those three together, and you've got a competitive team.
Yeah. I mean, and the catcher's pretty good. Catcher hits. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he hit about 24 home runs, and he's a good catcher and all that. Yeah. They have a nice beginning of a ball club.
Exactly.
They just need to pay some of these guys and hold it together. Yeah. Now I'm gonna be sitting here thinking about the pitcher for the rest of the day, but that's okay. We'll work it out.
Yeah. So anyway, let's go to NFL now, Ted. And let's begin with the red hot AFC East leading Patriots win their 7th in a row by going into Tampa, beating a good Bucks team on the road 28-23. Your thoughts?
I did not, after watching some of that and then the highlight shows and all that, I did not realize that the Patriots had that many guys who could score from anywhere.
Hmm.
I mean that's a dimension that Tennessee never really had with Vrabel as the coach, right? So,
Hmm.
and Drake May's a lot better than, or has played a lot better than I think people were ready for,
And
or their system is functioning for him better.
And Ted, there's something else to be said here. He was a bust as a head coach, but Josh McDaniels is
Yeah,
proving
yeah,
to be a very good offensive coordinator. And to your point, Drake May is very, very good. Now, I don't think he's a top 5 quarterback yet. In this game, he was solid. He had, he put together a good performance. They have the 2 big plays, and the defense was not overwhelming. But Ted, they gave up 371 yards to the Bucks.
yeah,
But they made that team work for every inch.
yeah.
It took Baker 43 pass attempts to get 273 yards. They held the 2 running backs to under 4 yards per carry. Nothing came easy.
Right. That's right. Yeah. And if you're, look, 23 points, you got a chance. If you hold everybody to 23 points nowadays, you got a chance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and with their big play capability, they might be just a player or 2 away, or another year of maturation from Drake May. I mean, being really good,
Yeah.
really good.
Becoming a top 5 quarterback.
Super Bowl good. I
Ted,
don't even think he has to be top 5. He's a little bit better.
Yeah.
And
Now, Ted, there's something else. One other thing impressed me this week about the Patriots. The Sunday game against the Bucks was really impressive.
yeah,
The Thursday night win now was against the Jets.
yeah.
But Ted, coming off a big road win, short week, would it have shocked you if they laid an egg?
No, that happens frequently. Yeah.
They come out and they're solid. Travion Henderson from the
Yeah.
Ohio State University is great. And
I
Ted,
did not realize quite how fast he was until that play where he scored and he started looking back like, do I? He's looking at the sideline because he knows nobody's going to catch me,
right,
and I want to know whether I should lay down
right
here or just score
in the Bucks game.
And I mean, if he had done that at Ohio State, I get it. It's college. They're great athletes, but then this is the elite, and he's running away from these guys.
Ted, there's something else that I think is interesting about the Patriots. Bill Belichick, supposedly the greatest coach that ever walked the face of the earth, but I'll take Vince. Thank you very much. But anyway, at the end of his tenure, he got control over the drafting.
Yeah.
And the Patriots dynasty started to crumble along with the Tommy walking, but also their drafting the last 4 or 5 years was horrible. Now he's gone. I don't know who's drafting for the Patriots, but this past draft they take Will Campbell, the tackle from LSU. He's the starting left tackle as a rookie.
Right. And Drake May is still standing up.
And Henderson is the 2nd round pick. Last year they take Christian Gonzalez, who people tell me is a top 5 quarterback in the league already. The year before they take Drake May. So in the last 3 years, you've added 5 pieces at quarterback, left tackle, cornerback, and running back. That's a nice little nucleus of a football team, Ted.
Yeah, that especially with the way Vrabel wants to play.
Now, and Henderson is not going to be the everyday back because he's just not that big. But Ramondre Stevenson, if he can not fumble the ball, is a very good sort of power. He's a very poor man's Derrick Henry. Okay, so he's going to run it 30 to 20 times between the tackles when he's healthy. Henderson's going to get it 10 or 12. He's going to catch a couple swing passes, break 1 or 2 of them. Diggs is going to catch 8 or 10 balls. This team is starting to grow on me, Ted.
Yeah, I mean, the only negative I would say about them is that, they are not playing the big boy schedule this year. So we'll have to see if they, when they get to the playoffs, are they this good? And then next year, we'll see.
The win against the Bills and the win on the road against the win against the Bills and the win on the road against the Bucks tell me that while I don't know that I put them in my Super Bowl favorite team section yet, but this is a deserving playoff team.
I'll put it this way. This is a team that you really don't want to play in the playoffs.
And you might as well give the Coach of the Year award right now to Mike Vrabel.
Unless it falls apart.
Exactly.
Unless it falls
Unless
apart.
they finish 9-8. Otherwise, and stumble in the playoffs. So just give it to him right now. Okay, Ted. Let's go to the next game. The Los Angeles Rams go into San Francisco and look very impressive, putting a 42-26 win over the 49ers. Your thoughts?
I think we both kind of had this.
No, I actually thought the Niners would keep it close, Ted. I thought a division.
Okay.
The Niners had great success against the Rams. I mentioned
that's right.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Stafford is 2-6 against the Niners in his tenure there.
Yeah, but the 49ers are just so beat up. It just seemed like the Rams were just better, right? I mean, there really wasn't a whole lot of that to me. I just watched and I kept looking at it, going, the Rams are better. They're just better.
Okay. What I liked, if I'm a Rams fan in this game, Ted, it all worked. Stafford, here are the numbers, Ted. Stafford, 24 for 36, 284 touchdowns, no interceptions. Wow. The two running backs, Kyron Williams and Blake Corum, run for 27 times 129 yards. That works. The two wide receivers, Nakua and Devontae Adams, combined for 11 catches, 141 yards, 2 touchdowns. The defense gets 2 turnovers. That's about as good a complete team win. I don't see a glaring hole. And, at the beginning of the season, we said if Stafford's back holds up, because remember, he didn't play any of the preseason.
Right.
No one's talking about Stafford's back right now.
No. If you can keep him upright, he's just fine. Yeah.
I'm trying to decide. I still think the 3 best teams in the NFC are the Eagles, Rams, and Lions. I'm not quite certain which order I put them in.
Okay.
Now,
I'm not sure.
In our game picks, we're going to have a chance to talk about that because anyway. But Ted, there was a big fuss, I think, on ESPN. Brock Purdy comes back this week. Quarterback play is not the issue with the Niners.
No, Mac Jones has been pretty good.
This game, he's 33 for 39, 319, 3 touchdowns, 1 interceptions. As long as Kyle Shanahan's been the coach, the key to beating the 49ers is containing the running game.
Right.
So in this game, they hold San Francisco to 74 rush yards. McCaffrey carries it 12 times for 30 yards. With Ayuk continuing to be out, another case of a wide receiver holdout who gets hurt and can't ever be the player he was again. And McCaffrey, you hold McCaffrey in wraps. Debo's in Washington getting heavier by the minute. I think he just gained another 5 pounds. They just don't have enough offensive weapons.
And they're beat up. They're beat up on the line. Their defense is beat up. It's just not looking good for San Francisco. I think their window has closed.
I said at the beginning of the season, I thought their Super Bowl window had closed. Now, at the beginning of the year, I thought Shanahan did his best coaching job ever, getting them to 6-2 or whatever it was out of the gate. Bosa's out again.
Yeah.
Robert Saleh's been a great defensive coordinator, but they can't get to the quarterback with 4 without Bosa.
Right.
It's just
if you can't stop the run against a quarterback like Stafford, if you give Stafford play action, you're in for a long day. Yeah.
All right, Ted. Let's go out to another Los Angeles game. The Steelers go out to LA, and the Chargers put a 25-10 beat down on them.
You watched some of parts of the first half. It looked like the Steelers were playing like they did last week. They looked pretty good. They pushed, they were pushing their way around. They missed a field goal or didn't. What was it? They didn't score in the first quarter. They had a chance to score a touchdown and they didn't get in. It seemed like they beat themselves a little bit. They had mistakes. They had opportunities and just they couldn't get it home. And for whatever reason, that defense then reverted back to being very mediocre.
Okay, so Ted, they actually did get 5 sacks in the game, which I thought was good. They were playing against 2 backup tackles, so they should get their sacks.
Yeah, right.
Okay, but Ted, here's the numbers that if I'm a Pittsburgh Steeler fan, here's what just drives me nuts. So you're coming off a good win against a good team with the Colts, right?
Right.
And your team looked like
what you thought it was going to look like.
Okay, well put. Yeah. Well put. Then Ted, in this game, now if you had lost to a game coached by Harbaugh and quarterbacked by Herbert on the road, you'd have thought, Okay, I can live with that. If you lose 28-27, 27-24, okay, I can live with that. But Ted, in this game, the Steelers offense gets a total of 221 yards.
Yeah.
Aaron, 16 for 31, 161, one touchdown, two interceptions. The run game is held to 73 yards. And DK Metcalf, who's supposed to be this great wide receiver who they gave $35 million to, whatever, he's held to 3 catches for 35. If the offense had played an average game, it's a winnable game. This game makes me look at it. If this continues going, so now they're only one game ahead of the Ravens.
Right.
If the Ravens end up winning the division and the Steelers get bounced in the first round, the wild card round, what do you think the chances are that Mike Tomlin is back next season?
Well, I don't know what his contract is. It wouldn't shock me if he's back. Wouldn't shock me if he was fired. But the Steelers don't like to fire. They don't. Yeah, I think they would go after the defensive coordinator first, because the defense they spent a lot of money on, and it hasn't been very impressive. The thing is, you looked at. I'm looking at what I wrote down here. They missed the touchdown in the first quarter, and then they had that interception in their hands, and the guy dropped it. Happens, right? But then the punt comes, and they get pinned down deep, and then they end up with a safety. I mean, here you should have had a potential for 14 points. You make the interception, and you end up only, you end up giving, it would go 3-2 or 2-0. I don't remember if they kicked the field goal, but it just seems like it was so many missed opportunities for the Steelers that then you begin to wonder, is this attention to detail? And if it's attention to detail, then you do have to look, okay, what are they doing, and what's Tomlin doing? What are the coordinators doing?
Now,
Is there maybe Aaron's done? Maybe, it's time, it's 1 year too many. I don't know.
So if they were to let Tomlin go, if he wanted to, he'd be a coach on another team in about 5 minutes.
I would think, yeah.
But at some point, if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, with the history of how many Super Bowls they have now, Ted, 4 with Bradshaw, 2 with Big Ben, right? So they have 6 Super Bowl rings.
I think that's right.
That franchise is about winning Super Bowls, not just finishing over 500.
Right.
Is this team looking to you like? Does this team look like a Super Bowl team to you?
No. This, I don't know what it is, but it seems like they don't play like the Steelers. If that makes any sense.
They don't play like the Steelers should play.
Right. They don't play like
you're not the most physical team on the field every Sunday.
And with the amount of money they spend on the defense, at least on that side of the ball, you would think that they would be the most physical team. There's something missing. I don't know what it is. There's something missing up there.
Yeah. All right, let's finish up our games, Ted. The Eagles go into Cheesehead land and win a bit of a bore, 10-7.
Well, it was, you were on the plane, so I don't know how much you saw.
I kept on trying to figure out every way to get that game. I was doing all of my IT manipulations to try and get that game, and I couldn't get it. But anyway, it looks like I didn't miss much.
I mean, you didn't miss much. I mean, the Eagles had it at the first possession. They mowed it right down the field. They matriculated the ball, and then Hurts fumbles at like the 15. And then the rest of the game until they scored late was it looked like something out of the 70s. I mean, defensively, it was impressive. Both quarterbacks were under duress the whole night, So I don't know how to explain it, that because usually that's not what happens, is maybe one team plays that way, but both of them were just getting after it,
Now, Ted, in the same way I said that if I'm a Steelers fan, I'd be upset and concerned about that loss to the Chargers.
Yeah.
As a Green Bay Packer fan, this is the game that makes me go, what is this team? Ted, if you hold the Eagles to under 300 yards, you hold Saquon to 60 yards on 22 carries.
Yeah.
You hold the Eagles to 10 points at home.
Right.
And you're paying your quarterback over $50 million a year. You
Yeah.
have to win that game. There
I'm
are
just
no.
gonna I'm just gonna tell you that both teams really were putting quarterbacks in distress. I don't know what the offensive blocking schemes were doing, but they weren't working very well.
Let me ask you this question, Ted. If Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson was quarterbacking the Packers,
Yeah.
do the Packers not win like 24-10?
I don't
Or
you would be surprised. I mean, if you saw that they would be running around a lot too. Um, it the other part of that, and I'm not is it seems to me that they should have tried, and maybe they did it more than I saw. Or Josh Jacobs got to get the ball more. I mean, I don't. It seems to me, you know, um,
I didn't write down how many.
because I don't think that their wide receivers scare you.
No. For the last couple of years, everybody has said, and they do, they have about 4 or 5 B-level wide receivers.
Yeah.
All of them would be great as a second or third wide
Right.
receiver.
Right. Right.
But there's definitively no number one wide receiver on that offense. And that's why I said a week or so ago that I thought Tucker Kraft was so important, because you don't have a legitimate number one wide
Right.
receiver. Their best player other than Jacobs offensively and theoretically Love is the tight end. And he goes out and the offense all just, so last week against the Panthers, they scored 10.
Right.
This week against the Eagles, they score 7. You're paying your quarterback over $50 million a year. I'm sorry. You got to do better. I get that the Eagles have a good defense and they came after him hard, but Ted, at home with a quarterback making that much money, you've got to score more than 7 points. Have to.
Now, the 3 guys you named probably do get them to 14 or 17. I'm not going to argue that. Yeah. But
that's my
they would
problem.
have had they would have had trouble too that night, I think.
And and like I keep on saying, I was one of those people that actively advocated for drafting Jordan Love. I just went out of advocated for giving him $55 million
Right.
after 8 good years in that 8 good games after that one season.
Right.
That's the difference.
Right.
So, okay. All right, Ted, here we go. Hold on. Let me get myself organized. I was in my cheesehead rant, so I wasn't prepared.
I gotcha.
Here we go, Ted. Here we go. Okay. So, Ted, I touted last week how I was coming back to respectability. So last week was 1 step forward for me. This week was 2 steps back. you were 2-2. I was 1-3 each. So for the season, you're 12-11. I've fallen back to 8-15. Okay, we've got 4 good games to pick this week.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna start with the Bucks on the road coming into Buffalo. Both teams are 6-3.
Yeah.
The Bills are favored by 5.5 at home. This is a critical game for the Bills.
Yes, it is.
They lose a stinker to the Dolphins.
Yes, they did.
Now the Bucks are 11th in scoring at 24.4 per game. The Bills are 7th, 27.6 per game. Ted, the Bills lead the NFL in rush yards, 153 yards per game. Bucks are 25th running the ball. Both teams are average offensively. The Bills are 12th, allowing just under 22. The Bucks are 15th, averaging just under 23. The Bills are 3rd best against in the NFL against the pass defensively, allowing 170 per game. But that might be because everybody runs the ball on them. They're 3rd worst, 147 per game. But the Bucks do not have a good ground game.
No.
So this is one of those things, you look at all the stats and they all kind of go in different directions. Nothing immediately, when I look at the stats, says, oh, there's your answer right there. So Ted, what say you with all of that information to get your head spinning?
I think I'm going to go with the Bills at home. I'm just going to, it's a lot of points against Tampa, but yeah, I think the Bills at home.
How much of that do you think is just a pure bounce back situation because of the stinker against the Dolphins?
I think that's, and the fact that the Patriots already won, they're looking up, they have to catch them. The Bucks, on the other hand, their division is wobbly.
Ted, with their win last
Carolina's 2nd, right? 5-5.
Yeah, I think they're actually better than that, Ted. Let me look it up here. I heard somebody say that they have 6 wins. Let me see if I can get to it really quickly here and show you my prowess with.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Ted, it's 13-13 in the fourth quarter between your Commanders and the Dolphins. How'd you like to be in somewhere in Europe paying big bucks to watch that game?
No, no,
Let,
no.
let's see here. Oh, yes, you're right. The Panthers are 5-5, Ted. Yep, exactly. Okay.
Yeah, and
Um,
Atlanta's like 3-6, so they're toast, and
yeah,
the Saints are definitely toast. So
yeah, exactly. Ted, Taylor Shuck is the new quarterback for the Saints. And Ted, um, on the Dan Patrick show,
yeah,
they do T-shirts to sell
right.
swag for the show. They've got one now that says "Shuck around and find out." I like that. All right. Yeah, 5.5 is a lot, Ted. It's a lot.
But I look at bounce back, and I'm looking at need.
Yeah. Yeah. But Ted, the Bucks are bouncing back also. I think this is a 27-24 kind of game. I'll take the Bucks and the points. In part because Ted, I'm 8-15.
Yeah, right.
What's between 8-15 and 8-16?
Nothing.
Exactly. Okay, Ted. There are two games this week that could be previews of the NFC Championship game in
Right.
January. The
Okay.
first one is the Seahawks coming into Los Angeles. Both teams to visit the Rams. Both teams are 7-2. At home, the Rams are favored by 3.5. Now, we associate the Seahawks as defense from the
Right.
Pete Carroll days. But Ted, both of these teams are in the top 5 in scoring offenses in the league. Seattle's third at over 30. LA is fifth at just under 28th. Both rely on their passing games. They're both average running the ball. Both teams have very good defenses. The Rams are second in scoring defense at 17 per game. The Seahawks are sixth at 19th per game. Both are tough against the run, average against the pass. It's a game of while the last game all the stats were going in different directions.
Yeah.
These teams are very similar statistically.
I'm betting I'm going to take the Rams because I like Matthew Stafford over Sam Darnold.
Yeah. 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 I agree with you, Ted.
And
That's
I know
exactly.
Darnold's playing well. I know he's playing well, but Stafford at home, yeah, I think I'll take that.
And now they seem to, and like I say, based on what they did last week against the Rams, against the Niners, 42 points against any team in the NFL,
Right,
is pretty impressive. I like Darnold, but to your point, I don't like Darnold as much as I like Stafford.
right.
And Darnold looked great against the Commanders, but I think if the Seahawks had put you behind center, I think you could have completed a couple passes against the Commanders defense.
Okay. We'll go with okay. A swing pass, sure.
How about a 3-yard hitch to the tight end?
I got that one still. That's assuming I can get the snap and not fall over and blow out my Achilles and all that other good stuff.
So Ted, I'm with you. I'll lay the points there. Okay, Ted. The Chiefs,
Yeah,
5-4,
yeah,
visit Denver. Denver's 8-2.
yeah.
On the road, the Chiefs are favored by 3.5. This is a critical game for the Chiefs because of the loss last week. They are currently out of the playoffs. I think they're 8th out of 7 teams. I think that's where they are. Kansas City is 9th in scoring at 26 per game. The Broncos are 17th. They're struggling, 23.5 per game. Broncos have a 9th best running game, under 128 per game. Kansas City's 12th in that regard. Kansas City has the 5th best passing attack, just under 250 yards per game. The Broncos are 18th at 206. Now, both defenses are really good.
Right.
Denver is 4th against the rush, 6th against the pass. KC's 12th against the rush and 7th against the pass. Broncos are 3rd in scoring defense, just over 17 per game. And the Chiefs are 4th at just under 18 per game. So this game might come down to which offense can run the ball against the other team's really stout defense. Because, Ted, the other thing the Broncos bring to bear is the league NFL best 46 sacks. You talk about a team that does get after the quarterback.
Yeah.
That kid Bonito, I don't know where they found him, but man, that kid gets to the quarterback. So there you go, Ted. On the road, what do you say for the Chiefs?
I I'm going to pick the Broncos. I think the Chiefs are going to win. And I think but the Chiefs are, I think it's going to be like 2 points or 1 point game. Or even a field goal, but
Yeah.
I'm surprised that it's a 3.5 point spread.
Yeah. 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 All right, Ted. The same way you said you like Stafford over
Yeah.
Darnold, Bo Nix at the end of last year, everybody correctly touted Jaden Daniels as the best rookie
Right.
quarterback last year. At the end of the year, Nix was probably playing the best. He has regressed badly. The offense looks completely out of sorts. That Kansas City defense is really, really good, much better than the Raiders defense that they managed to squeeze out 10 points again last Thursday. Maybe the extra mini bye has given their offense some kind of great jolt. But Ted, give me Patrick Mahomes over Bo Nix.
Well, that's what I said. I just think it'll be close because the Broncos defense is.
I think this is like a 24-17 kind of game.
Okay.
All right. All right. The second possible future NFC championship game preview is the Lions at 6-3, visiting the Eagles at 7-2 at home. The Eagles are favored by 2.5. All right. Any concerns that the Lions had about new offensive coordinator and multiple new offensive linemen? Out the door.
Yeah.
Ted, second in scoring over 31 per game. The Eagles are 12th, 24 per game. Philly's only 21st in the league running the ball, Ted. The Lions are 6th. Eagles are 25th in passing. I keep on saying I don't quite figure out how the Eagles win these games, but they do. Lions are 8th against the run. Philly is 19th. Both teams are average against the pass.
I'm going to take the Lions because, again, I think the Lions need it more.
Yes.
The Eagles in the division they're in, they're probably, they could lose 3 games and probably still win the division pretty easily. But the Lions are, Packers, the Packers and the Bears are around, so
even the Vikings, Ted.
Yeah.
Even the Vikings. Let me see if I can pull up my record really quick here. I think they're even within in shouting distance. Yeah. So yeah, the line. Wow, Ted, the Bears are 6-3.
Yeah, right.
That's the worst looking 6-3 record I've ever seen. The Packers are 5-3-1, and the Vikings are 4-5. Yeah. So Ted, and here's the other thing. I mentioned it. I can't quite figure out how the Eagles keep on winning these games.
Yeah, and if the Lions go out and score 30, are the Eagles gonna,
put up 35,
yeah,
34th? I don't.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Ted. I got the Lions in this game. I think they win the game outright. Lane Johnson is hurt, and he's a big part. Saquon had that breakout game against not the Eagles the week before. I can't remember who they
Giants.
Maybe the Giants, yeah. Where he put up like over 200 yards. But other than that, he's been very quiet. I think the Lions will do a good job of containing him. I just think the Lions have more offense, or I just think their offense is clicking. I was about ready to say more weapons, but they don't have more weapons. It's just the Eagles' offense. It's almost like, Sirianni, because he's not an offensive genius, it comes down to who your play caller and offensive coordinator was. When they had Steichen, they were great and they went to the Super Bowl. The next year they struggled. Then they got Kellen Moore. They were very good and went to the Super Bowl and won again. This year, this new guy clearly is not making it all work, and here they are struggling. So there you go. I'll take the Lions. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, when you're able to put up routinely, close to 30 points a game, and the other team is struggling. I mean, they may not get 30, but are the Eagles going to get 24? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up there for the week. Thank you again to our fans for listening. Hoping you're enjoying these episodes. Please continue to follow us on millions.co. Also, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel. I have to keep on remembering to put the new videos up. Sorry about that. We're also
you were on the continent. It's okay.
Yeah. We're on the X and Instagram, and also on Facebook. You can also email us at grumpybrothersports@gmail.com. And with that, we'll say good night, and we promise to do better next time.